So Thor Love and Thunder just dropped on Disney+, so we're going to talk about it. Hi, my name is Rachel.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome back to Project N.E.R.D, where nearly everything is reviewed and discussed.
And today we're going to be talking about Thor Love and Thunder, if it's actually good and if it's actually worth watching as well. So let's just jump right into that, shall we?
If you can't quite remember all of the plot beats of this movie, it has been a little while since we've all seen it. Here's a quick recap. We find Thor off adventuring with the Guardians of the Galaxy. He left with them after Endgame, when he receives a distress call from an old friend who's been slain by Gore the God Butcher. This sends him off on his own independent quest to save the universe again.
And not only that, Jane Foster, our favorite female protagonist, has cancer now from the Aether, and she finds out about Mjolnir, Jonathan, and then goes to New Asgard, gets the powers of Thor, and becomes the mighty Thor, and is going to go team up with Valkyrie and Korg, as well as Thor, to go defeat Gore the God Butcher.
Gore's main quest is to find eternity, which will grant him one wish, presumably his wish being that he would like to eliminate all gods, as is his quest. So, in order to lure Thor to him, he kidnaps all the children of New Asgard, which sends Thor, Jane Foster's mighty Thor, Korg, and Valkyrie off on a wacky quest to save them.
And we see Thor's ass. That's the only part of the movie I remember, Rachel. I don't know about you.
It's definitely memorable.
We then go to Omnipotent City, where Thor's going to try and raise an army of gods to defeat Gore the God Butcher. However, Zeus, king of the gods, does not particularly care. So, Thor and Zeus fight, and Thor wins and steals Zeus's thunder, which he then goes to defeat Gore with and fails miserably. Then what happens, Rachel?
While the team is fighting Gore, they realize that Gore is actually after Stormbreaker, as it is the key to opening the gate to eternity. Gore is able to take Stormbreaker from them, in the process severely injuring Valkyrie and Korg, as well as Jane Foster, leaving Thor the only one left to go and take on Gore alone. He goes to the Gate of Eternity, is able to rescue the children, and in the nick of time, mighty Thor arrives, and they are able to break Gore's Necrosword, but not before he's able to open the gate to eternity and reach eternity before them.
He then has a change of heart when he's asked his wish, and suddenly Thor is now a father.
Gore, instead of wishing for all gods to die, he wishes for his daughter to be returned to him right before dying. Jane Foster also dies, and now Thor has a kid.
And they lived happily ever after, isn't that right, Rachel?
That is exactly a portion of this video. I kind of know your thoughts already, but was there anything that you liked particularly about this film?
You know what? The colors in this movie were fantastic, as always. Well, the Marvel movies are particularly gray, and this one actually was a color other than beige, which was really refreshing, personally.
That's true. I do enjoy that a lot of their films that seem to be set in space. This is a thing with the Guardians of the Galaxy also. They're
Not the first one.
Not the first one? Alright. Well, the second one at least, and this movie also, they definitely popped the color, which is good, because yeah, they're known for their sort of looking a little bit desaturated. I also did the humor that I found funny, I did enjoy. Not all of it landed, but the parts that did, I think, were enjoyable.
Christian Bale was in this. I like Christian Bale. That's pretty much the only other good part about this movie to me. Sure,
Christian Bale was all in on this role, which I appreciate.
And is only in it for like 10, 15 minutes.
But they're a great 10, 15 minutes.
I guess so,
to be fair.
Fair enough.
I also liked that it sort of resolved Thor's arc from Avengers Endgame. A lot of people sort of disliked what they did with him there, where he, was depressed and gained a lot of weight and, things like that. Here, in this film, you kind of see how he gets himself back in shape. He resolves his relationship with Jane Foster, which was left very open-ended after Thor 2. So, those two characters' growth together is really kind of the main focus of this movie, I feel, and it's done pretty well.
Thor: Love and Thunder is proof that 2 training montages can fix any man, Rachel, really, at the end of the day.
There are a significant number of training montages in this film,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both pretty good.
It's a movie.
Yeah. I will say, I did enjoy, I enjoyed the fight scenes in this film. I thought all 3 were pretty good, but particularly I liked the first fight with Gore, which was all black and white, which I thought was something artistically different for Marvel. And I really enjoyed the fight in Omnipotent City. That was a lot of fun.
I liked when they played that one rock song that I can't remember off the top of my head at the beginning with the Guardians. That was solid.
Yeah.
And then the movie was a movie. Things that are interesting, not in a great way, about Thor: Love and Thunder, I'd say. What do you think about that, Rachel? What would you say?
Well, I said that the jokes that landed I enjoyed, but there were quite a few that didn't. It felt more joke heavy than Thor Ragnarok, but somehow also less funny.
It was rapid fire jokes. I wasn't able to settle with any, and it was kind of a pain.
Right, it was almost hard to keep track. I felt like there were so many that I just didn't get because they were so rapid fire.
It was one joke after another, after another, after another. Yeah.
And with how and with how dark Christian Bale's portrayal of Gore was in this film, it seemed a little out of place to not have any serious moments.
Did like kind of that juxtaposition of when Gore showed up. Oh, it's bad news. I thought that was cool. But I think it doesn't really work for a majority of it though.
I would have liked for them to take at least some part of it seriously. And, I mean, talking about Gore, that fantastic performance was criminally underused.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We didn't even get to see...
Horribly misused, yeah.
We didn't even see... We saw Gore, the God Butcher, kill one god.
And it was at the beginning of the movie.
Before he technically earned the title.
And it wasn't even a major god. No. Pretty disappointing.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing, to say the least. It's unfortunately a trend with Marvel that their villains are...
A bit lackluster.
Yeah, a little bit lackluster. Pushed to the wayside.
What else did you say you didn't like about it?
There were some interesting plot holes, I feel like, or things that just sort of came out of nowhere. I mean, how is Stormbreaker the key to eternity?
I don't know. Plot armor.
I mean, they literally just created it in Avengers Infinity War.
I don't know. It don't really make a whole lot of sense.
Not necessarily.
It doesn't.
And not to say that bringing up Eternity out of the blue was a bad thing, but, I mean...
that's how it is in the comics. I don't really have a big issue with that, personally.
True.
Mm-hmm. But still, a lot of plot holes in this. Not a big fan of them.
And as far as Marvel plots go, it's on the simpler side. It follows the Marvel formula almost to a T.
Oh, absolutely.
Which, after over 10 years of these things, you've got to branch out a little bit more. We need we need
something
a little
different.
bit of variation in order to kind of keep us engaged, especially now, after when we're still sort of in this like waiting period after
waiting for the next big event. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What exactly does this movie mean for the MCU as a whole and Thor as a character?
I think it's trying to set up the more God sort of aspects of everything, which is, interesting, I suppose. But really, I feel like this is setting up Thor's kid to be a player, or Gore's kid, who's now adopted by Thor, to be one of the players in the MCU way down the line. I'm sure that's what they're kind of trying to get at. Whether that's a good idea or not remains to be seen, but really this just kind of feels like it's setting up Hercules for maybe showing up in Wonder Man or whatever. I think that'd be fun. But really it just kind of feels like, hey, let's try throwing Hercules into something in an end credit scene. Let's throw in Thor's kid to get powers and has powers and do something down the line. And let's kind of show the Guardians of the Galaxy guarding some galaxy for a little bit. And that's
I do think this movie kind of, as far as Thor's personal arc, I think it's pretty much resolved at this point.
There's not much else.
There's not much left you could do with with his particular character as far as growth. But I do see the potential for more focus on the gods as a whole, like the lesser gods. I mean, we did get that end credit scene with Hercules, which would be interesting, and it's not even this isn't even the only recent MCU project that has featured gods.
That's true. The greatest superhero of all time, Moon Knight. Yeah, that's right.
We do have Moon Knight, which played into gods. We have Black Panther, which they haven't really touched on gods yet, but gods are a player there. And so we really could be seeing some sort of big godly conflict, which
I could absolutely
find
see them
interesting.
doing an Omnipotent City, like Disney Plus show or something like that. I could definitely see them announcing something like that down the line. So if I got that right, you heard it here from me first, so I'm right, everyone else is wrong. Thank you. What would you give this movie out of 10, Rachel?
I thought we weren't doing a rating.
Oh, okay. Well, if we don't want to do a rating, then it's 1 Mjolnir, and we'll give it 2 Stormbreakers and 1 Thor's ass out of 10. I think that's a fair rating there.
I mean, if you don't think too hard about it and you're just going in to have a good time, it's a perfectly watchable film.
This is a movie that I'm going to be eating peanuts on an airplane watching, and probably no other place at all.
That's fair enough, honestly. I mean, personally, I liked it better than Multiverse of Madness, but, I mean, that's just me.
Wrong, but okay.
Alright, fair enough. But yeah, overall, I mean, I walked out of the theater thinking I had a pretty good time. So, I think as far as Marvel films go, it's right about average, I guess. That seems to be what most things are like these days.
It's a movie. It movies well. It's a movie.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're new to our channel, be sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on our bell for notifications.
And make sure that you comment down below about how right I am about Omnipotent City spin-off being real. My name's Sam.
My name's Rachel.
And have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.